Okay, we're going to continue with the distributive law of multiplication, and there's an extra thing you need to know here. It's just a very subtle change. What do you notice that's different compared to the previous example? I hope you've spotted that it is the fact that we've got a negative sign here. So the distributive law of multiplication also says that a lots of b minus c is going to be a times b and a times c, and there's a subtraction in between there because we're going to subtract it. The other thing you're going to notice here is that we've slightly changed is we don't have to write the multiplication sign. So that multiplication sign is invisible a lot of the time. So looking at that example here, we can do, for example, 4 times 5 take away 4 times negative 4 times 2. So 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 2 is 8. So that becomes 20 minus 8, which is 12. Of course, the other way to do this is we do 5 minus 2 first, which will give you 3. 4 times 3 is 12, but we're going to specifically try to use the distributive law of multiplication here just to practice using it. So if we're using the distributive law on this question on the right, we're going to do 4 times 6 take away 4 times 1, and that's going to become 24 take away 4. That's going to give you 20. And we can just quickly check that because we do 6 minus 1 is 5 and 4 times 5 is 20. So we've got that right. Okay, let's keep moving on. What we have now is if you fill in the blanks, what you're going to see here with these questions is the numbers have been decomposed a bit. So 24 is written as 20 plus 4. 24 times 3 is the same as 20 times 3 plus 4 times 3. Just written in a slightly different way. So here we can see 24 is 20 times 3 plus 4 times 3. And that becomes 60 plus 12. So have a go with the rest of the questions here. And I'm going to show you all of them so you can have a go. And then pause the video and I'm going to show you the answers in a second. So pause the video now. Okay, I'm going to show you some answers now so you can check your work. So you're going to get 4 and 12. For question B, you're going to get 240 and 600, and then the operation that's missing is a plus. For question C, you're going to get 200 times 3, 40 times 3, 5 times 3. And that's going to give you 735. And then question D, the rest you can just track yourself as you mark it. So those are the final answers for these questions. And we're going to move on to some practice questions here about working efficiently with these questions which look really tricky. They look quite hard. We're going to just use the distributive law of multiplication to make them a bit easier to do. So 17 lots of 54 plus 17 lots of 46. Let's see if we can use the distributive law to work this out easily. So this is the same as 17 lots of brackets 54 plus 46, and that's a lot easier to do. So we're going to have 17 brackets, and then you can see this is a nice number bond. We're actually going to get 100 here. 17 times 100 is 1700. We're going to do the same thing on the right. 18 lots of 45 and 55 lots of 18. Now we can read that in a slightly different way. We can say 18 lots of 45 and 18 lots of 55. So let's write this as we need to. 18 lots of 45 plus 18 lots of 55. So think about what this means. 18 lots of everything in the bracket. So this is going to be 18 multiplied by 45 plus 55 is, again, it's a nice number, it's 100. So the questions you're going to see on the next slide are relatively straightforward. They're quite nice questions. Specifically, these questions are meant to be easily done. Now, you do not need to do every single one of these questions. You are just going to pick out any 4 or 5. If you want to do harder questions, you can pick out the ones on the right hand side. Pause the video, have a go, and then I'm going to show you the answers on the next slide. Okay, so hopefully you've done at least 5 questions. Here come the answers. Now these have got all the written solutions given, so pause the video if you want to mark any questions that you've done, and then we've got the next slide here. Again, pause if you need the answers, and the last slide here as well. Okay, so we've just looked at the distributive law of multiplication. We're going to continue looking at the Lex law of arithmetic on the next video.